Adolescence, I was 110, 115 pounds. Had a great little shape, but my legs seemed out of proportion slightly, and I was embarrassed. I mean, when I look back at those pictures now and I see myself in a bathing suit, I'd kill for that body. But as an adolescent, I knew that my legs were larger than they should be, and I was really obsessed with what's wrong. And even asked my mother, can I go to a doctor and have him cut through my skin in my calf and tell me what's in there? In my 20s, same thing. I was always very thin on top. And I remember having a professor tell me, you know, you look so feminine from the waist up, but you look more like mannish from the waist down. It just killed me. You know, my legs were disproportionate in my 20s, and they just continued to get worse my whole life. And when I became pregnant at 38 and gained, 74 pounds, my legs were massive. And from that point on, they just got worse. I became very obese. I was over 300 pounds. And I decided to have gastric bypass surgery because I couldn't impact my weight. I mean, I've been on all of the diets and the powders, the protein powders, and I'd lose 100 pounds and gain back 150. And not only did I gain back more, but my total body shape changed. So nothing worked, nothing. And so I resorted to gastric bypass surgery. Lost 120 pounds. But my legs were massive. They even looked more swollen. I know that to take one step was such an effort because I felt like I was lifting 100-pound weight with every leg, every step I would take. It was lifting 100-pound weight. And, you know, so that in and of itself was very stressful on the legs and had a lot of pain associated with it. Even when I'm sitting, like in the position that I'm sitting in right now, I would have to just constantly readjust my body because of the discomfort. And that wasn't from lifting the leg, that was just from the pain and discomfort in the legs, but mine was more that way. I was diagnosed with lipedema about 7-8 years ago, and it was actually a plastic surgeon who looked at my body. I was going to him to see if I could have a tummy tuck. I had gastric bypass surgery, had lost 120 pounds, had the flap in the abdomen, and wanted it lifted. So I went to a plastic surgeon. And in the process of him giving me the consult, and I decided not to do the tummy tuck, he said, you've got a problem in your legs. You know, you've got something. You've got lymphedema, lipedema. I'm not sure what all you have there, but you need to check it out. When I did find one doctor in the Chicago area who does deal with lymphedema and lipedema, that was a godsend because he was able to prescribe compression garments and recommend aqua work and gave me a prescription for MLD, and I had the wrappings, but you know, the wrappings didn't do that much for me. The first time I had the wrappings, I did shrink a few centimeters, and then that allowed me to be measured to have the compression hose really fit me properly. But any MLD past that didn't do much good for me. I was doing everything possible to manage the condition, but the condition was progressing. And I had read about the liposuction, read some research articles, and how quality of life had improved. But it really scared me because I didn't want to go through all of that and have my legs be worse than what they currently were at the time. But because I saw that progression in the last year, and I saw pictures of what I could become, I was scared. It was like, I've got to do something. It's been a journey. A lot of doors have closed, and I've been unstoppable. So with every no with every "that's not possible," with every "we don't do that here," to "I don't have the skill level, go to Germany." Many doors closed. And it just strengthened me to not take no for an answer. And that took me to the doctors in Germany, and they have all been incredibly honest and wonderful to me. But when I stood up off that table after the first surgery, there was no pain. It was like, what's wrong here? There's like no lipedema pain. Now, I haven't experienced that in over 30 years, I've had that my whole life. I would say majorly the last 2 decades. But to stand up after a 2.5-hour procedure and have no lipedema pain is like, oh my God. I was moved to tears. I couldn't help but cry. And my life, I'm gonna cry, but my life it's changing because of that. Because he could hold out hope for me and was willing to work on me. And so a new lease on life is coming. It would make my heart sing if some young women out there who have the condition could see that there is a cure, that they can live their lives fully without being obsessed with this condition. It would just make my heart sing if a young woman could have her life and have her children and not be burdened with this condition their whole lives. And so that makes this all worth it. And I just pray to God that the American doctors take this training and go for it. And if my son gets married someday and has a daughter and she has the gene, she can have the services in our country. And if she can't, okay, well then she'll come to Germany, but she'll have a life.